Morning, students. Today we are going to study green revolutions under this chapter, primary sector agriculture. Okay, we are studying. So, in the last chapter, already we have seen the government measures for the removing the for removing the problems of agriculture. What steps government has taken? Okay, now. So the main important terms is green revolution for removing the problem of in the field of agriculture. So we will see green revolution. You all are introduced from the by the name of green revolution. What do you mean by green revolution? See here. During 1950-51 to 1965 to 66, Indian agriculture remained traditional in nature. Okay, Indian agriculture was remained traditional in nature. Traditional and locally available resources were used to raise productivity. Indian was dependent on the other countries for the supply of food grains. Means India was dependent on the other countries for the food grains. Okay, for instance, in 1960 to 61, 3.5 million tons, and in 1605 to 66, 10.36 million tons of food grains were imported. Means the India in the year of 1965 to 66, India was importing the food grains from the other countries. Getting you all? So in after 1967 6 and 7, a new strategy of green revolution was accepted as a central point to solve the food crisis in the country. Means first of all, means in the time after independence, the India was facing the problems to fill the food, to fill the means क्या होता, पेट भरने के लिए वो उसको परेशानी का सामना करना पड़ता, अपने लोगों का पेट भी नहीं भर पा रहा था. ठीक है ना, मीन्स खाने के लिए नहीं थी चीज़ें. तो क्या हुआ, उसके बाद जो चीज़ें बदली, उसके बाद देखें क्या है. A new strategy of green revolution was accepted as a central point to solve the food crisis in the country. New agriculture strategy took birth in the mid 1960 when the country was faced a serious shortage of food grains. ठीक है ना, मतलब बहुत कमी फील होने लगी. तो तभी लाल बहादुर शास्त्री ने नारा दिया था, क्या, जय जवान जय किसान. और फिर तभी से क्या हुआ, एक तरीके से बहुत बड़ा चेंज आया, रैपिडली चेंज आया. और फिर हमने क्या किया, मिड सिक्सटीज़ में ग्रीन रिवॉल्यूशंस के चीज़ों को फॉलो करके और फिर हमने प्रोडक्शन स्टार्ट किया और फिर हम मतलब इसमें सक्सेस भी हुए. तो देखिए मीनिंग ऑफ ग्रीन रिवॉल्यूशन. सिंस द मिड सिक्सटीज़ द ट्रेडिशनल एग्रीकल्चर प्रैक्टिस बीइंग gradually replaced by modern and new farm practices in India. मीन्स जो मॉडर्न टेक्निक्स थी उसको हमने दूर करके न्यू टेक्निक्स फॉलो करने लगे. ओके, द आउटकम ऑफ दिस काइंड ऑफ चेंज इज पॉपुलरली नोन एज ग्रीन रिवॉल्यूशन. मीन्स जो वट एवर द रिजल्ट, वट एवर द आउटकम्स come from these modern techniques, that is called what, green revolutions. Okay, thus green revolution in India is the result of introducing new agriculture strategy. Okay, the word green revolution implies two things. First one is well marked improvement in agricultural production in a very short period, and second one is increase in productivity due to introduction of new agriculture strategy. Okay, green revolution thus implies large increase in agriculture production due to new agriculture strategy. मतलब ग्रीन रिवॉल्यूशन या मॉडर्न टेक्निक्स का फ़ायदा क्या हुआ कि इससे हमारा जो प्रोडक्शन है वो क्या है, काफ़ी बढ़ गया. और फिर आफ्टर इंक्रीजिंग प्रोडक्टिविटी मीन्स वी हैव गेट सक्सेस टू द फुलफिल द स्टमक ऑफ द आर पीपल. ओके, सो अब देखिए क्या है फिर. द न्यू एग्रीकल्चर स्ट्रेटजी वॉज पुट इन टू प्रैक्टिस फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम इन इंडिया इन खरीफ सीजन ऑफ 1966. मतलब खरीफ की फसलें होती है, रबी की फसलें होती हैं ना, तो उसको हम खरीफ की फसलें, तो उसी टाइम सबसे पहले खरीफ सीज़न को यूज़ किया गया इन 1966. This was termed as a high yield variety seeds program, as the basic element of this strategy was the application of high yield varieties of seeds, HYV seeds. Means under the Green Revolution, we were using what HYV seeds, means ये जो seeds थे उनको डेवलप किया गया था थ्रू मॉडर्न टेक्निक से, ओके ना। तो इनको हम क्या कहते थे, हाई एल्ड वैरायटी सीड्स कहने लगे, और इसको हाई एल्ड वैरायटीज़ प्रोग्राम भी क्या इसका नाम दिया गया, ठीक है ना। तो देखिए फिर क्या कह रहे हैं, द प्रोग्राम ऑफ HYVP वॉज इंट्रोड्यूस इन द फॉर्म ऑफ पैकेजेस प्रोग्राम सिंस हाई एल्ड वैरायटीज ऑफ सीड्स रिक्वायर्ड रेगुलर एंड एडिक्वेट इरिगेशन फैसिलिटीज़, ओके, एक्सटेंसिव यूज़ ऑफ फर्टिलाइजर, पेस्टिसाइड एंड इंसेक्टिसाइड्स, ठीक है ना। मीन्स इन सब सारे केमिकल का यूज़ किया जाने लगा, रेगुलर तरीके से पर्याप्त सिंचाई की सुविधा, इरिगेशन फैसिलिटीज़ को प्रोवाइड किया गया। फिर द कोर ऑफ द प्रोग्राम consisted of seeds developed by the researchers in laboratories as against traditional farm seeds, chemical fertilizers against traditional fertilizers like animal dung, adequate water supply, pesticide and their proper combinations. Okay, next next key point of the Green Revolution. As a result of all these, a tremendous increase in food grains was observed in 1967 to 68, nearly 25% increase compared to production in 1967. ओके, मीन्स एक बहुत बड़ा चेंज हुआ इन सब सारी चीज़ों का, ठीक है ना। फिर द इकोनॉमिस्ट देयरफॉर टर्म एज अ रैपिड इंक्रीज इन प्रोडक्शन ऑफ ग्रीन रिवोल्यूशन. सो whatever the economics at that time, so therefore they have called what green this drastically change called as a green revolutions. Okay, area under HYVP went up from about 1.89 million hectares in 1966 to 78.4 million hectares in 1998 to 99. Okay, the credit of green revolution goes to Nobel laureate Dr. Norman Borlaug, who developed a number of countries. MS Swaminathan is regarded as father of green revolution in India. Means in India, the MS Swaminathan was the father of green revolution. Means he has developed the concept of HYV seeds from learning to the or from मतलब चीज़ों को देख के, नॉर्मन बोरलॉग से देख के सीख के उसके बाद उन्होंने अपने वहाँ एम एस स्वामीनाथन ने इन चीज़ों को अपने वहाँ इम्प्लीमेंट किया. एम एस स्वामीनाथन इज़ नोन एज द इंडियन फादर ऑफ ग्रीन रिवोल्यूशन. एम एस स्वामीनाथन वो इंडियन फादर थे, एक तरीके से एक बहुत बड़ा चेंज इन्होंने किया. फॉर हिज लीडरशिप एंड हिज सक्सेस इन इंट्रोड्यूसिंग एंड फर्दर डेवलपिंग हाई यील्ड वैराइटीज़ ऑफ वीट इन इंडिया. फिर वीट का जो प्रोडक्शन था वो काफ़ी बढ़ गया और उससे काफ़ी लोगों को फ़ायदा भी हुआ, लोगों के पेट भरने लगे, ठीक है ना. ये सब सारी चीज़ें होने लगी. फिर सेकंड फेज़, अब इसको थोड़ा सा बड़े पैमाने पे यूज़ किया गया. अंडर सेकंड फेज़ इन द सेकंड फेज़ ऑफ ग्रीन रिवोल्यूशन, two phases of green revolution. In the first phase of green revolution, mid 1962 up to 1970, the use of HYV seed was restricted only to more affluent states of Punjab, Haryana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and western Uttar Pradesh. Further, the use of HYV seeds mainly benefited the wheat growing regions only. मीन्स जहाँ पे वीट हो सकता था उन्हीं रीजन्स को क्या किया गया, HYV सीड्स प्रोवाइड किया गया और फर्स्ट फेज़ में इन्हीं स्टेट्स पे फोकस किया गया. In the second phase of green revolution, mid 1970 to 1980, green revolution spread to a large number of states that benefited more crops. This phase includes wheat, rice mill, barley and maize. Beside the program, maize was implemented in other parts of the country, and the main purpose of the places was to raise the production of rice, pulses, grains and oil seeds. So it is called the phases of decentralization. Okay, the feature of green revolution, क्या क्या basic features था. focus on potential reasons. Means focus on potential reason means which reasons they are having the capability to produce the things. So under green revolution we have focused on that particular states like Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh. So Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh. These all are the states. They were having the capability for the production of wheat. Okay, so focused on the potential region. Second one is introduction of modern inputs means under exclusive attention on high potential region was further necessitated by the fact the new advanced inputs came to introduce an agriculture. Means before the independence, or yeah, up to independence we were doing the agriculture from the traditional way, but after the independence we have introduced a new modern techniques in the agriculture. So first one is under the introduction and under the modern inputs, the first concept of use of HYV seeds. HYV seeds means we had started to use the HYV seeds. HYV seeds means high yield variety seeds. The core of new technology is the application of HYV seeds in the place of low yielding varieties of seeds. HYV seeds give large proportion of output and thus are known as miracle seeds. Getting you all? These seeds grows quickly and the crops can be harvested in shorter span of time. So the farmers can have two or more crops in a year. Means a farmer get the timing for the agriculture and he can he can use his fields at two time in a year. Next one is use of chemical fertilizers. The farmers started to use the chemical fertilizers in their field. The HYV seeds need huge amount of soil nutrients. The new technology emphasizes the application of chemical fertilizers which contain nutritional element in concentrated form. Next, third one is proper irrigation. Proper irrigation means their HYV seeds can be effectively used only when there is adequate availability of regular water supply. That is why the new technology is described as seed fertilizer water technology. Means wherever the facilities of irrigation was available, so and in that state we were using HYV seeds for the first point was focus on potential reason. The potential reason one means they were having what they're having means irrigation type of facilities or agriculture facilities. Okay. Next, application of pesticides. Since weeds, since seeds also absorb a part of chemical fertilizer, they should be regularly uprooted. Again, to protect the plant and disease, the use of pesticide was emphasized. In short, Green Revolution was the outcome of the introduction of a package program. Okay, package program which includes HYV seeds, fertilizer, irrigation, pesticide, etc. Active role for the states. Active role for the states. Implementation of the new agriculture strategy require active role of the state. As a result, a number of state agencies are established. First one is National Seeds Corporation, State Farm Corporation, National Cooperation Development Corporation, NABARD, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, FCI, Food Corporation in India, Food Corporation of India, okay, NCDC in 1963, Small Finance Corporation FC 1969, and National Seeds Corporation 1963. The Agriculture Cost and Price Commission was set up in 1965 to advise the government from time to time to appropriate price of agricultural commodities through Green Revolution was facilitated by the government policy of providing support price for the food grains. Active role of the states means government has taken the some steps regarding to set up the establishment for the green revolutions. Okay, effect of the green revolution: increase in production and productivity. Definitely the production has increases through green revolution. Second one is self sufficiency in food grains, means a lot of sufficiency, means before the independence or at that up to 1960 we were facing the problems to fill their stomach. Okay, now so after the green revolution we have self sufficiency in food grain. The India was to longer at the mercy of America or any other nation for the food requirements. The Green Revolution was enabled the government to procure sufficient amount of food grains to build buffer stock, which could be used in food shortage. Okay, third one is third, increase in income of farmer. When the productivity has increased, then income of the farmer has also increased, and the farmer started to earn. Next, scientific cultivation. A very important consequences of the green revolution is that traditional agriculture input practices have given way to new scientific practices. Instead of farm seeds, farmers were using HYV seeds like was traditional fertilizers prepared from animal dung. Other wastes were replaced by chemical fertilizer. Consequently, the area under HYV seeds increased sharply from 1.89 million hectares in 1966 to 67 when Green Revolution came to India to about 78.4 million hectares in 1980 to 1989. Okay, my dear students. Next, development of industries. When the production has increases, the industry has also set up. Green revolution has not only contributed to the growth of agriculture, it has only also benefited the industrial development. Many industries producing agriculture machinery, chemical, fertilizers, pesticide, insecticides, etc. have come up to meet the growing demand for these commodities. Next, change in attitude. A healthy contribution of a green revolution is the change in the attitude of farmers. Our farmers have now begun to think that they can change their misfortune by adopting new technology. Unlike in the past, they are now giving up traditional agriculture practices for scientific practices. Increase in employment. Green revolution solved the problem of seasonal unemployment to a great extent with the possibility of growing more than one crop on a piece of land. More people were needed throughout the year. It also like demand for various services like transport, marketing. As a result of employment opportunity increased. Weakness of a strategy. क्या कम वीकनेस थी ग्रीन रिवॉल्यूशन की? कन्फाइंड टू फूड क्रॉप्स. ग्रीन रिवॉल्यूशन हैज़ रिमेन कन्फाइंड टू वीट एंड राइस क्रॉप्स ओनली. मतलब कुछ ही अनाजों पे ये यूज़ किया गया, लाइक जैसे वीट एंड राइस. It didn't cover pulses progress in our major commercial crops. Cotton, jutes, oil seeds has been very low. Limited coverage. Limited coverage means it has not focused under the whole country, because um, they have focused only in the very short, very limited areas which were having potential. Okay, so the second weakness is third weakness. Inequality among farmers. Only big farmers have benefited from the application of new technology. The new technology therefore widened and inequalities of income and thus led to the growth capitalist farming in Indian agriculture. Third point. Fourth point, undesirable social effect. Green revolution has produced certain undesirable effects. First, the increasing use of farm machinery has created the problems of surplus labor in the agriculture sector. Second, big farmers landlords have now found it more profitable to cultivate land themselves. There is thus a tendency on their part to evict tenants from their land. This has led to a greater incidence of landless among the poor farmers. Limited increase in production. A very limited increase in production. Green revolution now doubt increase the production of wheat, jowar, maize, etc. But the share of these crops in total agriculture production is about 19% only. Hence, it in a broader sense, green revolution couldn't help the entire agricultural production. Ecological impact. The most damaging impact of the green revolution was ecological. The excessive use of chemical fertilizers and pesticide has degraded the environment. It has increased the pollution levels in land, water and air. Harmful effects. Increased mechanism with the green revolution resulted in increase in the farm accidents. Farmers and workers are suffered health problems due to increased use of poisonous insecticides, pesticides and fertilizers. नेक्स्ट, फूड सिक्योरिटी. फूड सिक्योरिटी बिल आपने सुना होगा. India had been facing food crisis since a very long period. During the Second World War, India experienced a severe food crisis leading to a sharp rise in the prices of food grains. Again in 1943, Bengal faced a series of food grains. पहले भुखमरी अकाल पड़ जाता था, लोग बिना खाए पिए मर जाते थे, कुछ खाने पीने को ही नहीं रहता था. Again in 1943, Bengal faced a serious famine whereby near 30 lakh people died of starvation. भुखमरी के शिकार हो गए 30 लाख लोग. The partition of India in 1947 again aggravated the food crisis uh, of the in the country for the food surplus areas for the food surplus areas, okay, of West Punjab and Sindh. In order to tackle the situation of the government undertook measures from time to time such as introduction of rationing system, nationalization of wholesale trade in food grains, organization of food zones for purchases of food grains from surplus zones and transforming them to deficit zones, etc. However, India needs a food security system which goes beyond the management of food supplies only. What is food security? Food security doesn't mean only to have two square meals. It is more than that. Is a broader concept. First one is availability of food, accessibility of food and affordability of foods. मतलब फूड की अवेलेबिलिटी हो, दूसरा पहुंच हो सबके पास, और तीसरा अफोर्ड कर सकें, खरीद सकें लोग. द मीन्स द प्राइस ऑफ फूड शुड बी such that people can buy it. The government should intervene when required and make food affordable to all. Thus, the food security is ensured in country only if enough food is available for all the persons. Second, B, all persons have the capacity to buy food of acceptable quality. And third one is there is no barrier on access to foods. Who? Why food security? मतलब क्यों ज़रूरत है इसकी? Food security is needed due to the following reasons. The poorest of the poor in our society don't possess sufficient purchasing power to purchase food grains from the market. So, the food grains are available, the poor people can't get them. They remain food insecure most of the time. The people have the poverty line must also be food insecure during of natural disaster or calamity like earthquake, drought, tsunami, widespread and failure of crops. Food security during a calamity. Effect on production, effect on prices. Who are the food insecure? In India, in a large section of people suffer from food and malnutrition insecurity. Some of worst affected groups include the following: the land, the landless workers, traditional artisans, petty self-employed workers. मतलब ये लोग क्या हैं जिनके पास ज़मीनें नहीं हैं, ये सब क्या है, इन लोग के पास जो डेली वेज वर्कर हैं, पेटी सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयड वर्कर्स हैं. मीन्स दे आर इनसिक्योर. मीन्स कल को खाना मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा. इन द अर्बन एरियाज डेली वेज अर्नर्स, रिक्शा पुलर्स, कैजुअल वर्कर्स, बेगर्स आर फूड इनसिक्योर. दे आर इमर्ज, they are engaged in largely in seasonal activities and are paid very low wages just to ensure substances. Fourth, among social groups, scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, and some section of other backward classes are more prone to food insecurity. Fourth, the people who migrate to other areas in search of work because of natural calamities also become food insecure people. Next, we also find a high incidence of malnutrition among women and children. Pregnant and nursing mothers and children below the age of 5 years constitute an important segment of the food insecure populations. The proportion of food insecure people is large in some region of our country. The regions which are most prone to food insecurity include economically backward states that high incidence of poverty, tribal and remote areas, regions more prone to natural disaster, etc. In fact, the state of UP, eastern and southeastern parts, Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha, West Bengal, Chhattisgarh, parts of Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra account for the large number of food insecure people in the country. Next, hunger. Meaning and its aspect. Hunger is another indicator of food security. It has two types. Next, chronic hunger, seasonal hunger. Chronic hunger is a consequences of presently inadequate diets in the terms of quality and or quantity. It is caused by poverty. Poor people with very low income became unable to buy food even for the survival. Seasonal hunger. Seasonal hunger is related to the cycle of food growing and harvesting. During of season, prices of food grains are high. Food is not available to the rural people till the next crop is harvested. ठीक है ना। तो एक क्रॉनिक हंगर होते हैं जिनके पास खरीदने की सामान नहीं, परचेजिंग पावर नहीं होती है, पैसा नहीं होता है। और एक सीजनल हंगर होते हैं क्या, मतलब ड्यूरिंग ऑफ सीजन वो उनको काम नहीं रहता तो पैसा नहीं रहता तो फिर वो खरीद भी नहीं पाते हैं। In rural areas, agriculture activities are seasonal in nature, so the agriculture laborers remain out of work. They have to suffer from hunger. In urban areas, like also there is less work for casual construction laborers during the rainy seasons. Hence, the ability to purchase food becomes low, and they have to remain underfed. नेक्स्ट, फूड सिक्योरिटी मेजर्स इंडिया। व्हाट आर द फूड सिक्योरिटी मेजर्स? देखिए सबसे पहले कैसे हम मेज़र करते हैं। सबसे पहले क्या गवर्नमेंट ने बनाया फूड सिक्योरिटी के लिए? India has adopted the strategy of self-sufficiency in food grains right from the beginning of planning in India. In pursuance of the strategy, efforts were made to increase the domestic production of food grains to meet the growing demand for food grains, to build buffer stocks, and to reduce their import of food grains. From time to time, our government has been taking various steps to solve the food problems. We now describe these measures briefly as under. The Department of Food and Public Distribution is responsible for food management in India. The food security system of the Government of India has two components. First one is buffer stock and second one is PDS. Buffer stock क्या होता है? जब जैसे कोई जब एक्स्ट्रा स्टॉक हो जाता है मेरे पास फूड ग्रेन्स का या गवर्नमेंट के पास, तो उसका क्या बनाती है, वो स्टोरेज करती है कि उसको ऐसे टाइम पे हम क्राइसिस के टाइम पे यूज़, जैसे अभी कोरोना पड़ गया तो सरकार के पास जो स्टॉक था उस गवर्नमेंट ने क्या किया, उसको पूरा अपने पास बफर कर रखा था और फिर उसको डिस्ट्रीब्यूट किया. बफर स्टॉक रेफर टू द स्टॉक ऑफ फूड ग्रेन्स मेनली wheat and rice procured by the government through Food Corporation of India. It is maintained by the government to distribute food grains in the deficit areas among the poor people at lower price than the market price, is also known as issue price. Buffer stock also help to solve the problem of shortage of foods during adverse weather conditions और ड्यूरिंग द पीरियड ऑफ कमिटी, जैसे लाइक कोरोना में हुआ था, देख रहे हैं ना. गवर्नमेंट इंश्योर्स फार्मर अ मिनिमम लेवल ऑफ प्राइसेस फॉर देयर क्रॉप्स. दिस इज कॉल्ड मिनिमम सपोर्ट प्राइसेस. MSP इज डिक्लेयर्ड बाय द गवर्नमेंट every year before the sowing season for different crops. It gives government to the producer of that crop. That price will not be allowed to fall below the minimum price. Thus, it produces incentive to farmers for raising production. PDS. Public distribution system in India is an arrangement under which essential commodities, mainly food grains, wheat and rice, are distributed among the poor through fair price shops, also known as ration shops. Fair price shops are now present in most localities, villages, towns and cities. There are about 5.5 lakh ration shops all over the country. Under PDS, there are three kinds of ration cards: Antyodaya cards for the poorest of the poor, BPL cards for the people below poverty line, and APL cards for people above poverty line. At the backdrop of the Bengal famine in 1940, rationing system was introduced in India. The system was revived in the wake of acute food shortage during the 1960s prior to the Green Revolution. मतलब सिस्टम आया था जो 1960 के अराउंड बंगाल में जो फूड क्राइसिस हुई थी, उसी फूड शॉर्टेज ड्यूरिंग द 1960 prior to the Green Revolution. Thereafter, many new programs were launched. Some of existing programs were restructured with the growing experience. At present, India has several poverty alleviation programs, mostly in rural areas with an exclusive food components. Out of these, some are exclusive food security programs such as PDS and midday meals, etc., whereas employment programs greatly contribute to food security by increasing the income of the poor. जैसे खाने की चिंता, फूड ग्रेन्स की प्रॉब्लम बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम होती है, तो गवर्नमेंट इसको क्या क्या चाहती है कि जितने गरीबों के पास क्या है फूड कम से कम पहुँचे, तो वो अपने पैसे, अपनी सोर्स ऑफ इनकम को क्या कर सकते हैं, थोड़ा सा बढ़ा सकते हैं, कमा सकते हैं, कमा के अपनी ज़रूरत को पूरा कर सकते हैं. Current status of public distribution system in India initially was meant for the public all public distribution system. There was discrimination between the poor and non-poor with regard to PDS. ठीक है ना, एक बहुत बड़ा डिस्क्रिमिनेशन भी हो जाता है पुअर एंड नॉन पुअर के बीच. बट लेटर ऑन जून 1992 रिवेंज पब्लिक distribution system RPDS was introduced. The aim was to provide the benefit of PDS to consumer living in remote and backward areas. Now it also been discontinued and replaced by targeted public distribution system TPDS from June 1970 is based on the principle of targeting the poor in all areas. Under this scheme, a differential price policy was adopted for poor and non-poor. Further, in 2002, special schemes were launched, namely Antyodaya Anna Yojana and the Annapurna scheme. The special target group of poor is the poor, indigent, senior citizen respectively. ठीक है ना, तो ऐसे बहुत सारे गवर्नमेंट ने सबसे पहले क्या किया, पीडीएस लॉन्च किया, उसके बाद आरपीडीएस लॉन्च किया, उसके बाद टीपीडीएस लॉन्च किया, उसके बाद अंत्योदय अन्न योजना लॉन्च किया. अंत्योदय अन्न योजना देखिए स्कीम्स की जो इसकी मेन वो है 2000 से लागू है, इफेक्ट फ्रॉम अप्रैल 2000 एंड इट एम्स टू प्रोवाइडिंग फूड सिक्योरिटी टू मीट द रिक्वायरमेंट द पुअर सीनियर सिटीजन्स. अंत्योदय अन्न योजना was launched in December 2001. Under this scheme, 1 crore of the poorest among the poor families were covered under the target public distribution system. Okay, 25 kilograms of food grains were made available to each eligible family at highly subsidized rate of 2 rupees per kg and wheat rupees 3 per kg of rice. ठीक है ना, 2 रुपये किलो गेहूँ और 3 रुपये किलो चावल अंत्योदय अन्न योजना में मिलता है. अच्छा, फिर फ्रॉम अप्रैल 2000 से द क्वांटिटी वॉज रेज फ्रॉम 25 kg to 35 kg. 2002 में क्वांटिटी को बढ़ा दिया गया, 25 से 35 कर दिया गया. The scheme has been further expanded twice by additional 50 lakh BPL families in June 2003 and in August. With this increase, 2 crore family have been covered under the Antyodaya Anna Yojana. Other measures: National Food for Work Program NFFWP, फिर मिड डे मील स्कीम्स, बहुत सारे गवर्नमेंट के और प्रोग्राम है जैसे नेशनल फूड फॉर वर्क प्रोग्राम. द नेशनल फूड फॉर वर्क प्रोग्राम was launched in November 2004 in the 150 most backward district of the drought-affected states of the country. The main objective of the program was to generate additional supplementary wage employment with the food security. Second, mid-day meal scheme. The mid-day meal scheme was launched on August 15, 1995 to children studying in government schools. It another scheme which has a dual purpose. Next, Integrated Child Development ICDS. Under ICDS, launched in 1975, mother and children below 6 years of age are provided some help in the forms of food grains. Over the years, several employment generation programs have been launched. This program greatly contribute to food security by increasing the income of poor. Fourth one is National Food Security Act. This act was passed in 2013. Under the Act, 5 kg of food grains per person per month is provided at highly subsidized price of rupees 3 per kg of rice and 2 per kg of wheat and rupees 1 per kg of coarse cereals. Role of Food Corporation in India. FCI has played a significant role in the country. Its main achievement as follows. FCI, गवर्नमेंट ने FCI बनाया हुआ है. इन 1965 में इसको इस्टेब्लिशमेंट किया गया और इसको इस्टेब्लिश करके जितने भी बफर स्टॉक है, अभी आपने पढ़ा कि स्टॉक को स्टोरेज की जाती है, मेंटेन की जाती है और फिर उसको टाइम टू टाइम हर जगह अकॉर्डिंग टू द नीड डिस्ट्रीब्यूट की जाती है. इट हैज़ इनेबल्ड the government to build up an adequate buffer stock so as to protect the interest of the farmers on one hand and of the consumer on the other hand. Second, with the increase in the levels of permanent, the country's dependence on imports of food grains has declined substantially. Third, FCI has been established to arrest price declines to unremunerative labels. Fourth, FCI has also helped the low income group by supplying them food grains at affordable prices through the public distribution system. Fifth, FCI has played an important role in building up scientific storage capacity. This has not only enabled the government to build up buffer stock, it has also saved the country from food grains losses. मतलब जब हम बफर स्टॉक करते हैं तो क्राइसिस के टाइम क्या होता है, गवर्नमेंट उसको यूज़ कर सकती है साइंटिफिक स्टोरेज कैपेसिटी डेवलप करके. दिस हैज़ नॉट ओनली इनेबल द गवर्नमेंट टू बिल्ड अप बफर स्टॉक, इट हैज़ ऑल्सो सेव द कंट्री फ्रॉम फूड ग्रेन लॉसेज. It plays an active role in the inland trade of food grains. Through its buffer stock operation, the government buys food grains from surplus area and sells them in the deficit areas. Role of cooperative in food security. Cooperatives की रोल क्या है, ठीक है ना, इसको देखते हैं. द कोऑपरेटिव और ऑल्सो प्लेइंग एन इंपॉर्टेंट रोल इन फूड सिक्योरिटी इन इंडिया, स्पेशली विद द साउदर्न एंड western parts of the country. The cooperative society are the society which are run by the local people who are elected by the people. Cooperative are considered to the substitute of PDS system. They sell items including those listed and PDS schemes at less than market rates and keep margin low. For example, out of all fair rices sub running in Tamil Nadu, amount around 94% are being run by cooperative. Many milk purchasing cooperative like We Mother Dairy, Amul, etc. have brought about the revolution in the country. So these all are the things about to know about the food security, okay, and the lots of government schemes whatever regulating by the central government of India for the implementation. Okay, my dear students, so we can see here all these. The next chapter is industry, we will study in the next videos. Okay, so food security is most important. Okay, food security and green revolution is most important topic for the your examination point of view. Okay, my dear students, so these all are the most important topics you can study. Okay, for today, hope you all are getting. If you have any problem, you can ask me, okay, through message or through direct contact. Okay, for today, thank you very much.